Morning. How is everyone this Wednesday morning? We're going to get started here in just a few minutes. Hope you're all well today. We've got a couple panelists that'll be joining us here in just a moment, but we will get started soon. Good morning, Maureen.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you? We've got quite a few people on here already, so.
Wonderful.
Yep. So feel free to share your screen whenever you're ready.
You got it. There we go.
Affirmative.
All right. Have we checked to see if everybody can see us and hear us? By typing into the chat box that you can. Anybody out there just want to say hello? Say I can see you and hear you, just so we know our tech is working. Excellent. Thank you very much. That's all we really needed. Well, it's quite close to 10 o'clock. We will give it just a couple more minutes before we kick into the full presentation. But I just want to thank everybody for being here. And we're going to look forward to giving you the same kind of experience we would have if we were lucky enough to be in the field right now. So I would like to introduce my counterpart, whom I'm sure many of you know already, Michelle Hoyt, who's going to be here to assist me to make sure that you get all the information and answers all your questions during this 2-hour webinar. If you look at the bottom of your screen, there is a Q&A folder. That is where you want to type your questions during the presentation. And that's because if you type them in the chat box, we can't really record them and we can't be bouncing back and forth to try to find your questions. So just go in the question and answer box whenever you have a question, type it in there, and then when we record it, when we answer you, it will actually be on record, and we can send out that question and answer scenario to you following the presentation. Additionally, just keep in mind this is being recorded, and the slide presentation will also be sent to you afterwards, within 24 hours about. All right, so 2 minutes to 10. We have plenty of people climbing in. Looks like everybody's in good shape.
Good morning, Erica.
Well, hello, Erica.
Good morning, ladies.
All right, let's get started. First, by introducing ourselves. I will be the first host today. My name's Maureen Colvin. I'm the Learning and Development Specialist for the New England region. And I am happy to have with me today 2 very esteemed colleagues, both of whom are critical to this training and the support of the platform booj. So I will let them introduce themselves, and I guess we'll start with Michelle. You're muted.
Good morning, RE/MAX INTEGRA. I'm happy to be here. Like Maureen said, my name is Michelle Hoyt, and I am her counterpart. I'm located in the Midwest, and we have all gotten to know you virtually quite a bit, especially these last couple of weeks. But I just want to say that we appreciate your willingness to make these adjustments with us in these times where we're all figuring out what our new normal is. But I believe in the power of RE/MAX. I believe in the relationships we have in real estate, and we're all going to come out on the other side of this a lot stronger. So I just want to say hello, and I'm happy to be here. I'll be answering questions. Thanks.
And Erica.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Erica Kappa. I am the Director of Support for RE/MAX INTEGRA North America. So that means that I lead the team that provides support on all the RE/MAX tools to all of our agents in Ontario Atlantic, North Central Indiana, and New England. So I'm very excited to be here with you all today and to be able to answer some of these questions behind the scenes. Just as a couple of quick notes, I hope you don't mind, Maureen. If you can, please post your questions in the Q&A box in the bottom navigation bar. That Q&A box is what we will be able to monitor much more closely. It also allows us to download the questions at the end of this webinar, so I can list those all out, answer them in text as well, and Maureen will send that out when she sends the recording for the link. Also, throughout this webinar, if you experience hardware issues, meaning something's going on with your computer, we're not going to be able to assist with that through this webinar. We would ask that you reach out to our support team, which is www.maxhelpsyou.com. You can also get to us through Max Center. It's the broker and agent support tile there. If you're experiencing challenges with the platform loading, or if your screen looks different than what Maureen's looks like as she shares her screen throughout this process, again, please reach out to our support team because we need to make sure that you have the proper provisions in the background. That isn't something that we're going to be able to answer on the webinar. So just to make sure that you get that assistance as quickly as possible, I recommend just going directly to support.
Terrific. Thank you very much. And we are exactly at 10:01, so I'm going to just get right into it, and I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint. I'd like to make mention of what my agenda is going to look like a little bit today. First of all, I'm going to do a short presentation via PowerPoint to give you some overview, some background information, and some visuals that I think will be really helpful to those of you just starting. Then I will go live and we'll demonstrate the features of the booj CRM. Once we've completed those reviews, I will then go back to a small section of PowerPoint on the website specifically. And that's, again, just to give you an overview, some background, and some visuals to get started. And then I will go into that live, and we'll demonstrate the website live as well. And then I have a couple of examples of websites that I can share with you that are up and running to give you a couple of ideas. So I'm not going to stay on camera the whole time. I just wanted to say hello, let you, sometimes it's nice to have a face to a name if I haven't met you already. It's my pleasure. And we're going to get right on to the webinar. So I will see you shortly. Okay, what I wanted to first bring up is that we are having webinars in place of live training for the remainder of the booj rollout. As like everybody else, we don't know how long that will last. We hope it's not too long. And I wanted to show you these dates. You might want to take a quick picture of this, or just note that you can go to soldsignblog.com/calendar, and that's where you're going to be able to register for this next session. And these are listed here. Basically, just look at the titles. Once you see the date, underneath it says Agent Focused, what to expect on the go live date of booj, which is March 31st. The next one, again, new features and leads that are live. The Tuesday, March 31st, will begin with the Broker Owner Manager for broker office sites and new features. And April 1st, back to agent-focused new features and leads that since they're going to be live. And finally, a team-focused webinar on April 1st in the afternoon. So again, you can get this schedule again at soldsignblog.com in the calendar section. If you're following along, please make sure that you are signed into your Max Center account. You want to get www.remax.net, use your @remax.net credentials, and what you'll see is what you see here on this computer screen picture. You'll see all the apps within Max Center. You want to click on the booj platform app. And what we're going to go over first is a little bit about the objectives of today's webinar. We want to give you an overview of the lead routing rules for remax.com and the booj websites. We're going to talk about and demonstrate importing contacts from other platforms, organizing and tagging contacts. Tagging is like categorizing, the CRM tasks and the calendar within, the settings and notifications, and also how to download the CRM app on your phones. So a few things to note. Please understand that booj is optimized for the Chrome browsers. There is a download Chrome for Macs as well, but the system will also work on Safari and Firefox, but we certainly recommend using Chrome because that's what it was optimized for. You want to get the most you can out of the platform, and that will help it go more smoothly. We are going to be updating all your profiles in the Max Center platform, okay? Eventually, they'll be not going to Launchpad at all, so we want to make sure that you're setting up your profiles in Max Center. I'll show you how to do that when we get to the websites. Keep in mind the March 31st date. It's now right around the corner. It seemed like it was far away when we first started this soft launch on February 17th, but it's certainly around the corner now. That is when the Lead Street import migration will be fully functional. You'll be able to add custom domain names to your new websites. The text feature on the booj CRM will be enabled. And until then, your remax.com leads are still coming through Lead Street, but that will switch over to booj on the 31st as well. And you will have a little bit of a leeway period in April to still access Lead Street and get any information out of there that you may want to export. And a note specifically to broker owners, if you haven't yet had your IDX agreements signed and approved and in place, please contact support at remaxintegra.com. That must be done in order for your agents to be able to publish their websites on the 31st. The agents do not need to worry about that. This is specifically for broker owners. And all of your support needs are now under the heading maxhelpsyou.com, and that's where you will find Erica and her team ready to help. Again, I mentioned booj is optimized for Chrome, so please make sure that is the platform you're on, and notice here you can download Chrome for Mac as well. And we mentioned earlier, the February 17th was when we began this soft launch. We are now closing in. We're only about a week away from the March 31st when the remax.com and mobile app leads go live, when the texts start coming through the booj app, and you're going to be able to publish all those websites and choose new domain names. So here is the screen you typically see when you go to the broker and agent support tile in Launchpad, which is now going to be in Max Center. When you scroll in, you will see all of these options, including the text support. Move this out of the way. The New England number, for instance, is 617-858-8869. North Central and Indiana are also listed here. You will see these numbers on the broker and agent support page. Feel free to grab a note and write them down now, depending on which region you're in. But that is where you can actually text for support.
Hey, Marie, if I can pipe in just real quick, that is for text support only. If you call that phone number, it will not work. It is for text support only. If you want to speak with a member of our support team, the best way to do that is to schedule a call through maxhelpsyou.com, where Maureen is out right now.
Absolutely. This is, that's actually one of my favorite pieces. And I think it's quite amazing that our tech team is able to take those calls directly into their calendar. You literally go through this process, click through, decide if you want 30, 45, or 60 minutes on the phone with them, depending on how complicated you think your issue is, and they will literally give you a call back during that time and give you one-on-one attention. You'll also find a huge self-help section, tutorials, frequently asked questions, and a knowledge base. You can submit a help ticket, which will be tracked and followed through upon until its resolution, reporting issues, etc. When during regular business hours, you can use their instant chat button, which you would see over here in the right-hand corner, and they're extremely quick to answer and very helpful. Sometimes you don't even have to go into a support call or a ticket because they resolve it right there in a matter of seconds. So don't forget, maxhelpsyou.com and support@remaxintegra.com. Okay, another thing to note, of all the webinars we're doing, we are simply trying to replace the live trainings that we would have been doing if we were still on the road for this month. And this session is meant to give you all that same information and answer the same questions. We do have to condense it into 2 hours for the webinar. So that's why we have 3 of us on the call right now, so you can get your questions answered in the background as I continue to proceed. It will move at a fairly steady pace. I try to hover over and repeat a few things that I think you may need to remember, and repetition helps with learning. However, I can't go backwards, so I'm going to keep moving along. Please know that you can go to RE/MAX University and find a plethora of videos, tutorials, and all kinds of learning that you can do at your own pace. That is in addition to re-watching either this webinar or any of the 6 we've done prior to it. You simply type booj into the drop-down and you will see a whole slew. You can also click this button here. If you look on the left-hand column down below, it's right under the technology tab. You click on booj and you will see the entire product in mini lessons, overview, CRM, website, customer tools, teams. And when you click on these drop downs, there's another selection of videos on each one. Another thing to keep in mind is when you watch something on RE/MAX University, you can go at your own pace. These little videos are very nice, small snippets so that you can really grasp that one task. They run between like 2 and 8 minutes long. If you wanted to rewatch this webinar or another one that's been pre-recorded, you can stop it and back it up and watch it again until you grasp that piece that you may have a few questions on. So just know that you have plenty of opportunity to see and hear all this information through RE/MAX University. All right, what resources and support do you have? Let's look first at the MAX Center side. Coming very soon, there is going to be Recharge Tuesday updates, and you're going to get all kinds of new information, release notes. They're going to tell you updated things that have just been turned on, new features that may have been added. There's a whole knowledge base in there that you can reference. And while we're demonstrating booj, you're going to notice in the lower right-hand corner this big blue question mark. And not only does that have step-by-step guides to take you through any questions you may have, it also has a place where you can offer feedback to the actual booj team at LLC. And that gives you an opportunity to say, gee, I've been thinking all along that this one feature will be there. It's always been something I've used in the past. I don't happen to see it. You might want to send a little note, is this coming, or did I miss it, or maybe it's to be developed in the future. The good news is you are getting a direct access to the people that are developing and working on launching the rest of the program, and you will be heard. They won't necessarily be able to change anything, quickly or for everybody's request, but they're certainly taking the information in and on advice. I mentioned RE/MAX University already regarding the webinars, the guides, the how-to videos, and we will be even having learning tracks in the future. I'd like to mention, once the full rollout is done and we're past the March 31st date, we're also going to be developing smaller segments of recorded webinars that are going to be specifically for little pieces of each thing. For instance, we might do the contact record only on a 1-hour webinar. And do that again for perhaps just the deals section. So you'll get more in-depth views on how to work within each part of the CRM and the websites. And finally, not a bad idea to join the RE/MAX Tech and Tools Facebook group. There's a lot of people out there that have already been on the beta section, or they've been practicing and they're really comfortable with the product. So you might find a lot of tips from your peers there. All right, let's go over the leads and overview. First of all, what you should note is since 2006, remax.com and our other RE/MAX websites have generated over 22 million referral fee-free leads to our agents. So that is an enormous amount of leads coming into the RE/MAX system and being distributed to you without any referral fees. That is very unique to RE/MAX, and we like to point it out. That data is going to be processed through booj, and these are the 5 ways in which they funnel in. The remax.com, the mobile app, global.remax.com, the luxury, and the commercial platforms are all going to be funneling down to you through our lead process, which we're going over next. And again, when you get those, they are referral fee free. So one of the things we would like to explain is what the goals are behind the lead routing that's been developed. A lot of research was done during the beta testing. There was certainly a lot of input from agents, brokers, and consumers. And the number one thing that's important for us to do is to empower the consumer. It has been made very clear that they want to be able to choose who do they work with, and they don't want to just be assigned someone they don't know. So if they have a choice, or if they know somebody, they want to be able to make that choice, and that's the number one priority. We also want to make sure we're supporting your existing relationships. If you've done business with somebody, or they have already been a part of your contact base, we want to make sure that we're able to support that. We also want to make sure the listing agent is the first to receive a lead if somebody brand new that isn't associated with another agent comes into the remax.com world and starts asking questions. If there is nobody that they've already been working with or assigned to, then they will become the prioritized person to get that lead. And finally, you are all local experts, and we're going to show you where to put your zip code choices so that you are in that pool and eligible to get leads from all the sources. Now, how are leads created? Actions taken by a consumer will create the leads. They may fill out a form, whether it be requesting information or scheduling or hitting contact. They may have the activity on one of our sites. They may favorite properties or save the searches. Adding a My Place, I think this is a really nice thing. I don't want to just read that and gloss over. I want you to understand that consumers are going to be able to use this platform to add places that they call My Place. And that might be their home address, it might be their work address, it might be their child's daycare, or a place they go on a regular basis like the gym. And when they save those places and they look at a listing, it's going to actually tell them what the drive time is between the two. So they may say, oh, I really like this house. Well, what do you know? It's only 15 minutes from my house, it's only a half an hour from my work, and it's only 5 minutes from the daycare. So very, very good feature for the consumer. And if you see them, if they hide a listing, that's also considered an activity. Now, we have lots of ways in which leads come in to the system. And we mentioned remax.com. There's going to be third-party sources like realtor.com. your agent websites, the CRM app, the team websites, office and multi-office websites are all going to be pouring leads into our system. Now, we're going to show you how to set up your lead settings, but overall, you're going to be able to enter up to 10 zip codes, and it only takes one for you to be eligible to receive your leads, but we highly suggest you enter up to 10, and they should all be different. No longer does repeating zip codes give it more strength of any kind, so you want to pick 10 different zip codes. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, oh, I don't possibly work in 10 zip codes, they're so far away from me. Well, consider the fact that it's almost not necessary for you to manage or to close every lead you get, but you certainly should be accepting every lead you get. Make a few calls to qualify it, and if it's not something close to you or in a category you're comfortable servicing, then please go through our referral process and refer it. Then you build your referral relationships with other agents in different areas, and you get a referral fee. So there's really no reason I can think of that you would say, I don't want to put in 10 zip codes, even if they're not that close to you. Another tip I have for zip codes is to do a quick Google on them and make sure that they're not P.O. box zip codes, because those won't associate with any streets or homes. And also, take a look at the population that is in that zip code, and it might help you narrow down the choices that you make. All right? I will show you in the system where it says, check the boxes of lead types you do not want to receive. We want to be careful that we don't check boxes there because we want to receive all kinds. And basically, we're giving you the control over your lead eligibility by setting it up this way. And yes, you are automatically eligible for all lead types. So PBA is the word you see here. That means preferred buyer's agent. And this is what you want your clients to do, is you want them to choose you as a PBA, a preferred buyer's agent, because as we talked about, that is what's going to give you priority for leads. And if a consumer finds a listing they're interested in, then they're going to get prompted to register and choose a PBA. They're going to see a box that looks like this, and they're going to click, I am working with a RE/MAX agent. They're going to type in either a first or last name, and when your name is part of the drop-down, you want them to choose your name, and then as you see here on the right-hand side, you want them to click register. That is what's going to make you their PBA and give you the priority over all their lead activity. So just as a note to that, now is the time to reach out to your entire database, all of your clients, past clients, anybody that you have met recently. You want to give them a heads up that you're working on your new website, and you have a whole new platform in which you can help them, where they're going to be able to save their places and do searches by neighborhood, by school area, and let them know that this is coming, so that when you send them that cue on the date of March 31st or April 1st and say, now it's time to register me as your preferred buyer's agent, they're not going to be surprised, and it's not going to just look like some random request to register for something. If you touch base with them and do a little mini drip campaign prior to this happening, you'll get much more of a response and hopefully secure a lot of PBA assignments. So just another reminder, here we go. The preferred buyer's agent is the first one to receive a lead if the customer has so chosen you, as I just explained. If, for instance, an agent has received a lead that is designated to them, for instance, the office has assigned a lead to a specific agent, that will become an assigned agent position, and they will have the next opportunity to service that client. That is the supporting the existing relationships we were talking about. If that's not the case, then the listing agent is certainly first. That's only if the customer did not pick a preferred agent above them. Now, as an example of that might be, for instance, here you have the listing agent who says, well, anybody that inquires on my listing, it should be my first shot. Well, just think relationship-wise. It might be Michelle's listing, but if my sister wants to buy the house, chances are she's going to want to choose me as her preferred buyer's agent. So that's the only reason that is in that order. And then finally, when it does reach the local expert zip code pool, that's when you are all in line and you are all, whoever chose those zip codes, are eligible to get that lead via what we call a round robin process. Now, the lead routing timing, as you can see down here in the lower left corner, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. is the time those leads, the clock is ticking, and you have to accept them. Local time for everybody, and it is 7 days a week. Now, if the priority agent is the listing agent, they get 1 full hour to get that lead. That's a good long time. We're going to show you how to get notified of these leads, and you got to think of the consumer's attention span. If they waited for a whole hour and nobody picked it up, then naturally we have to move on because we need to service the consumer. So the first agent who gets that priority time frame of 1 hour needs to grab it in the hour. If they do not, this is when the round robin comes into place. The person who has waited in line the longest for their next lead will be the first one it's offered to, and then they will get 15 minutes to grab it. If they don't, it moves on every 15 minutes to others in line. And I did want to mention also, in this case, if you do not pick it up, you do not stay in the pool through the final acceptance, you get dropped off. All right, so if you're waiting for an hour and then this person gets added in for 15 minutes, you can't take it away from them. You can't grab it back. So just keep that in mind. Whatever your time limit is what you get, and then it moves on. The round robin just means whoever's waited the longest gets the opportunity next. All right, to make sure you're eligible, this is where we're going to make sure you enter at least 1 zip code into the booj system, and we'll show you where to do that. Make sure that if you will remain eligible as long as you haven't missed accepting or declining 3 consecutive initial lead offers. Initial means that 1 hour block. So you don't want to do that. Hopefully you're going to accept or decline within the 1 hour. If you do happen to miss 3 for some reason, you will be taken out of the pool and you'll have to use your broker owner to reactivate you. These are the ways in which you have options to be notified. You will be able to be notified through the app, through your email, via your web, and also via text. That's going to be going live on the 31st. So there's a lot of ways in which you're going to be able to know you have that lead, and that time frame should not be of a concern. We want to be able to respond to the consumer as quickly as possible because their attention span is so short. Okay, so let's look at the CRM setup. I'm just briefly going to give you visuals of the wizard because I know a lot of people are still at that point. And do not worry if I go quickly through it. It's just to give you a quick snapshot of what you can expect to see if you haven't already been through it, and not to delay our time going into the product itself. Now, the CRM contains everything you could hope for, I think, in a CRM. It's going to involve your contacts and leads, all your deals, tasks, the campaigns that are coming soon, tags with your categories, and yes, it is going to be interactive with your Google, your iCloud, and your Outlook calendars very soon. Your deal management. It is going to interact with Loop and DocuSign. It's going to have task plans, seller reports, etc. And the transaction management integration. I know there's another one I need to add it to this slide. Michelle or Erica, what is the other?
It's ZipLogix.
ZipLogix. I need to add that to this so I don't forget. So those are the three that is going to be interactive with. Now, just getting in, don't forget, you have to go to Mac Center. If by any chance you've forgotten your password and you can't get in, just reset it quickly. And then you want to go to our regular RE/MAX INTEGRA support team if you need to reset that. Once you're past the sign-in, you're going to see the booj platform possibly here in the top apps, but if not, you're going to go to the little gray grid, click on that, and open the whole apps feature, and there it will be with all of the other opportunities and apps that are within here's your RE/MAX University, your Design Center, etc. You want to try to remember to flag this. Just click on that, and that way it will appear on the front page the next time you enter. So you want to favorite booj. All right, this is the quick review for most of you, but for some of you that's brand new, once you click on the button, if you've not yet been in booj, this is the wizard, as we call it, that you're going to see. It's simply a very quick, let's get you set up. Accept the terms of use. You have to click this button before you can move on to the next. Also, if you haven't accepted the terms of use, your CRM app will not be able to work. So make sure you come in here, accept the terms of use, and continue to click through. You want to verify your information as it is in here. Make sure it's the right primary phone number. You can edit with these little blue buttons if you have to. And again, click next. Here is where you have an opportunity to check yes if you want to make sure any of your leads or contacts that have been in Lead Street get automatically ported over. And the same will be true if you were part of the beta, CRM beta. You will also get a button that says click yes, and you want to click yes to both of those so those pieces of information transfer over automatically. Click next again. And this is where your first opportunity will be to enter those chosen zip codes for your lead receipt. We make notes here, enter 10 zip codes where you want to receive them. Now, one notice is sometimes people think that you just type in a zip code, have a comma, type another, and they can do all 10 at once. It doesn't work that way. Just type in one, press enter, and it will save. Press another one, type another one in, press enter, and it will save until you've reached your 10. All right, another reminder that repeating zip codes does not have any benefit, so please choose 10 different ones. I'll show you this again when we're in the settings live, but just as a visual, this is where I said you're going to want to read the fine print. Michelle likes to call this the trick question. Check the boxes for lead types you do not want to receive. Because it's small and at first glance, it makes you immediately think, oh, type the checks of lead types, and it makes you think these are the ones you want. Please do not check these because you don't want to exclude any kind of leads. These are the ones you do not want to receive. And as I mentioned, even if, for instance, you might say, I don't want to receive leads that are out of state. Well, of course you do, because then you can refer it, build a relationship with that agent, and also get a referral fee. So just try to remember the reason you're keeping this blank is so that even if you cannot fully serve a client in any of these categories, you certainly can provide them with a quality RE/MAX referral. And finally down here, this is where you're going to add your cell phone number so that you can participate in the text message notifications. They won't be able to send you a lead via text if they don't have your cell phone number. So this is where that goes. And then next, the notification settings. Again, this is making sure you are aware of how you're going to be notified under all of these different categories. So under calendar events, how many minutes before an event do you want to be notified on the app, via email or via web? Under contacts and leads, all of these categories have different options as to how you can be notified of them. If a contact or lead updated their PBA, you want to make sure you've checked your email, the web is automatically grayed, and that's checked. Of course, you want to know they did that because that basically means they changed their mind and they are choosing a different PBA. If that's the case, and you are the PBA that you were their PBA, you want to call them or text them and just retouch base, and maybe say, gee, where are you in your process? I've certainly been looking forward to working with you, and see if that can deter them from going elsewhere. But not in a scolding manner of any kind, like, oh, I just noticed you changed your PBA. Just retouch in maybe a subtle reminder that it was you who was originally helping them. All right, and just check out these different activities. For instance, when you go to import your contacts, you want to be notified that that is complete. And again, this is just the lower part of that scrolled page. You want to just be checking the boxes on how you want to be notified. While we're just getting used to booj, I like to suggest check everything, because you want to know every which way but loose how things are going, and if things are assigned to you, in case you're not on your app and you're in your email or vice versa, you want to make sure you're being notified every way you can. So at this time, I'm suggesting just check off everything. And if later when leads start coming in, you feel like it's overkill, you're getting bombarded, wouldn't that be nice? At that point, you can then come back into these settings and maybe remove a couple and decide which ones are most needed and the ones you actually use the most. Then finally, clicking next again is to just add your email signature. First of all, you can select up here, and you want to name it, maybe your first and last name, and then type it in. You're simply going to type in your name, most likely any credentials you have. If you're part of a team, your office, maybe your phone number, maybe even a byline. At this time, the font choices are limited. I believe it's only one. Everybody gets the same font choice, but that has been discussed because there's been a lot of feedback on that, and chances are very good that that's going to be updated with more choices coming soon. But for now, please get one in there, and then you're going to save your signature, and that is what's going to be on any emails you send from the CRM and on your future campaigns. And finally, once you've done all that, your setup is complete. And we want you at that point this is a picture of what the booj CRM app looks like when you go to the App Store or Google Play. We want you to make sure you download that into your phone and have that ready to go. Michelle, remind the audience, what is the purpose of deleting the app if you already have it in there at a certain point?
That's the RE/MAX mobile app. That's in the next section when we go over the RE/MAX search app, not the booj app.
Okay, so let me move forward first.
Sure.
And here we go, downloading, downloading the mobile app. It's simply, this is a visual of what it will look like. Instead of red behind the flame logo, it's going to be navy blue, so you know it's the right one. And when you do log in, again, it is your @remax.net credentials that will get you set up. All right, it is also going to allow for agent and team branding. We're going to show you how to send that link to your consumers and your clients. And when you're going to be able to text it to them, and when you do and they register, all the information on there will be branded to you. This app is going to allow buyers to co-communicate with each other. These live views are wonderful, and as I mentioned, my place and drive times are going to be something they're going to get very excited about. All right, so this is the default view you see for the first time when you log in. Some of us and most of you will have blocks of information in here, what's called the dashboard, but just in case you haven't, This is the very first thing you'll see, and it is not an error if it's blank. It simply means when we hit the Edit Widgets button, which we're going to do when we go live, that is going to start to populate the information you want to view first when you open up your dashboard. So adding a widget simply means clicking on this box and then choosing what activity type you want to see on your dashboard. So here we go. I am going to minimize the PowerPoint demonstration, the PowerPoint process so that I can go live. And as you see, now I am in a live booj account. And I had just mentioned if you don't have any widgets or boxes in here, you would add them at this point. So if I want to edit them, I can move them around for different locations, different views. Maybe I want to see my calendar over here. And maybe I want the deals to be next to each other. This is the add button I showed you on the PowerPoint. Just click add, and then you get to pick the account activity type, whether it be the calendar, the campaign, the deals, or the recent interactions. Let's add a recent interaction box and click next, and then add, and here you go, recent interactions right there. All right, so this is simply the CRM dashboard. I can get back to this at any time by clicking this red booj button, okay? That's basically your home button on this screen. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna move from left to right and go over each of these different parts of the CRM. The second half of the webinar will be on the websites, and we will look at the settings pages, which are over here on the right. So just as an overview, you can hover over the calendar. If you want to see the calendar within the booj platform, this is different than your Google, your iCloud, or your Outlook, but you can utilize that calendar within the system until those are live if you wish, or maybe you just want to utilize that one in and of itself. You can hover over check mark to see any tasks. As you can see, I've been playing with the system and I've got some things that are overdue. Request preliminary HUD or CD or from the title or ESCO company. All of these were things that we added as part of our demo. So let's say you want to click on that and you can see all the things that you can do with it, add comments on the deal, etc. Other notifications, trying to get that to open. There we go. This particular deal was assigned to me. I took care of what I needed to do, so now I can dismiss it. Oh. And let's see another one. Dismiss that. What I did was when I opened deal, it actually showed me the entire content of it, and we'll go over that again when I get into the deal section. But now it is dismissed because I've already taken care of it, and I just hit dismiss all. This little plus button is basically a shortcut. You're able to do all of these things by going through the main menu over here on the left, but if you don't want to go into it in depth or go through the whole process, at any time you can use this blue bar, go to the right and add a contact, a deal, an event, or a task. And now I want to go to this little icon, which will have your picture in it. Mine is just a test account, and hit settings. When I hit the settings, as you can see, it did open up the options for me to set the general settings I want on my calendar. What do I want my time zone to be? I can set it manually or automatically. What view do I like? Do I like an agenda or not? And what is the default time length I want to set? The default event notifications regarding the app. Do I want a 15-minute notification regarding my email? Do I want 30 minutes? Those are your choices and your settings. So when I clicked on this little icon in the settings page, remember I went to the little person icon, hit settings, brought it to settings pages. Now I'm in the hamburger menu of the settings pages, and you can go through your settings in all of these different categories. The calendar, as I said, all of that is there for you to be setting. Contacts and leads. This is how you're going to be deciding on what you want to be the lead start. You want to see your dashboard first. You want to see your details, household, listings. If I click details, that's what's going to show up first. If I click listings, that's what's going to show up first. Over here in the mailing labels, the export sort order, do I want it to be ascending or descender? Alphabetical by last name or first. For notifications, this is, remember what I showed you on the screenshot, you simply want to check all the boxes. Read through these. Naturally what this is going to require is some familiarity, and you only get familiar with things if you practice them. So come in here, don't be afraid to click on all of these things and read what each one means. For instance, contact lead was shared or unshared with me. How do you want to be notified? App, email, and already on the web. If there was a lead assigned to you, that's automatically going to be by email. Again, if you imported contacts, how do you want to know that's completed? Through the app and the email as well? Yes. Okay, so that's the notifications. The tags is where you're going to be able to see the categories in which you have tagged people. So a tag is like a category. They can be color coded. The gray ones are standard within the system, and that color can't be changed. But the ones that I've added during a demonstration, I was able to choose different colors for. So let's say up here in the upper right-hand corner, which by the way is where you will find all of your ad buttons, whether we're in contacts, deals, campaigns, or our settings, the upper right has the add button. So let's say I want to add a new tag that many people might fall into. Perhaps it's voters, and I want to choose a color. Now, right now, these are the only colors available to us for categorizing, or tagging. You may see some more added in the future. We're just working with what we have for now, and I add that tag, and there it is. Now it is an option for me to assign to any of my contacts. I could have 10 people in this category now that it's available to me. The custom fields breaks it down a little further. A tag is for larger groups of people, okay? But what if I want to take custom fields to further narrow down certain clients so that I can really fine-tune my marketing to them? We're able to pick up to 12 and create them ourselves. So let's just look at what we could add for custom fields. You'll see a few here. And let's say I want to enter, I happen to like the drop down because it gives us a lot of options when you're choosing something. Let's say we have a field where schools, local schools, or I'm going to actually be more specific, Situate school systems that people might either be a part of or want to be a part of. And when I hit next, I am able to add the names of the elementary school. And what if there's only one middle school, so we just make note of that, and then high school. So if we wanted to categorize people into that type of an option, all we have to do is save it. And now we can assign people custom fields that they may fall into depending on the school system that their family is a part of. Now, the integrations will be coming soon here. Offered leads. This is where you want to enter those zip codes. So remember, we were over here at your little picture on the right. We went to settings, settings pages, hit the hamburger menu, and the last one is offered leads. This is where you want to be offered leads. And like I said, you can only type in one zip code at a time and then hit enter. That's how it will populate. Do not duplicate any. It's not going to help. Just add them. And if you change your mind later, because you decide you've researched and another one might be more likely for you to do business in, then just change it. Delete one so that you always have a total of 10. This is the filters box we talked about. The trick question. Check the boxes for lead types you do not want to receive. Let's be careful and leave that open for now, okay? Any leads you get, you should try to qualify, and if you can't service them for yourself for any reason, please at least get onto our Max Center referral platform, search for an agent that you think will be a good match for your client, build a good relationship there by sending them the referral, and then make sure that you went through our official refer paperwork and therefore get a piece of that deal, even though you didn't service it. Here is what I mentioned earlier, where you want to enter your text phone number, your cell phone number, so that when the leads do come through, you can be notified via text, okay? And over here in the lower right-hand corner, I am just gonna mention it now because I'm reminded that this is something I wanted to show you. That's the question mark where you can watch onboarding guides, how-tos, and announcements even, but this is the suggestions and support note, all right? Terms of use, get support, product suggestions. They're gonna ask you to rate the system, submit feedback, and there you can type in something that's on your mind. Hopefully, if there's something really upsetting that you can't understand why it is or isn't there, let them know. But more importantly, tell us what we're doing right as well, so we can enhance those good features, and also suggestions that might be really common, that you think everybody in your office uses one specific feature, you don't seem to see it. Just send it out as a piece of feedback, and it will certainly be read and considered. Okay, so that is the settings section and pages. And now what I'm going to do is, like I said, anytime you want to get back to the beginning, you simply hit the red logo. And now I am back to my CRM dashboard. I'm going to go from left to right and open the contacts and leads section. Again, every section you open has an opportunity to add into it. If this were empty, and ours of course have some samples, but if it were empty, you would need to begin by adding your contacts. So the upper right-hand blue button in each of these categories is where you want to begin. So let's add an individual together, and you can put yourself or anybody you know, or just maybe just a sample. This is a first. Okay, and I'm going to bring him in as a lead. Now, the reason I'm identifying the different types for you is because it's just a little bit different language. Booj sees a lead as somebody that you have not yet established a client relationship with. These are people you've met or you're trying to earn their business. So it's a little different than what we're used to. Leads are people you want to convert into contacts when they actually are in a transaction or they've decided to make you their PBA, something like that. You can convert a lead to a contact, but you cannot revert it back. Okay, so at certain times, if I have a lead and I enter a deal, they're automatically going to be converted to a contact in this Booj system. So what I'd like to point out, one way for me to remember this, because it is a little different from when I was in the field, is I'm now thinking of contacts as clients. And we all know that's different. Clients are the ones we actually are doing business with. So that's how I want you to remember that. And leads are basically just customers that have yet to commit to us. So let's now pick one of the tags for this lead. And I know this person is a boater. So he now has a boater's tag. When I enter his phone number, I can let myself know that that's his mobile. I could even add a custom label here and say ocean boat captain, because they may live on a lake. There's a difference. Okay. Email address, home, same opportunity to really scrutinize how fine-tuned you want that information. And then you just add that person. Okay, and here he is down here with his appropriate tag. So now let's look at the add import button instead of just for an individual as an importing a list. Okay, if you can't, let me ask Erica this question. Are these systems live or going live on the 31st, Erica?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
What I mean is with this previous system drop down, it's showing Boomtown, Chime, and Follow Up Boss. Are they able to be dragged over right now?
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. Okay, so if you have any of these, you simply click on that, and that is your option to directly export from one of those systems. If you have your files on a CSV file of any kind, maybe you export it out of Top Producer, you export it out of your Gmail account, and it's on a CSV file, you can then just click here, find that CSV file, and hit next to import. That will bring the entire list over at one time. If you don't have a CSV file, another option is to download our template here, and I'm going to do so because I want to show you one specific thing about it that might be very helpful. As you saw, I hit download and it imported on my laptop. So now I open it, and it's basically giving you all the columns that are going to import smoothly with booj. And there's a few here that I want you to make note of. If you remember the tags of categories, this is where you want to make sure you transfer your categories from other platforms so they fall into the tags columns. And if there's anything further you want to add about those people, they have two notes columns as well. As with most CSV files, you want to be careful not to change anything in the layout. If you don't have information for middle names, just leave it blank. Okay, so that's adding and importing individuals and lists all together. Now, once people are in here, again, we're in contacts and leads, you are going to be able to go into any one of your contacts.
Hey, Maureen.
Yes.
Can I just interrupt for a second? Hey, everyone. I see there's some questions coming in on the chat box. Could you please enter your questions into the Q&A section? It's going to be super helpful for us because we'll be able to export those and even add those questions to the knowledge base on Max Helps You. So those of you that have typed questions in recently in the chat box, please, if you don't mind adding those to the Q&A folder, we'd really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Yes. All right, so here we are in one person's contact record. And what that did was it literally opened up this entire plethora of opportunity to add detail to their account and to help you keep in touch with them on so many different levels. This is the most comprehensive piece here. And I want to just show you a couple of shortcuts on this end. Let's say you're in this contact record and you want to log a call, a meeting, or add a note. You can simply click here and do so. I highly recommend the notes section be utilized. Enter the title, at March 24, 2020. I'm going to let this note be public. The difference between public and private means that if you were to forward or share this contact, the private notes would not go with them. So if they gave you some personal financial information, you might want to keep that note private. In this case, let's say I know that I'm going to be sharing this with a team member or sharing it with somebody who's helping me with a home inspection. I might want them to have the note that says, when I met him on March 24th, he said, only considering move-in ready. Whatever the note may be. Hit add, that becomes part of his contact record. And you can, again, log action. The action here is to send the contact completely out of your database and into someone else's. Sharing it means you keep it and they get it as well. All right, you can email out of the database, but this left-hand column I want to touch upon. The dashboard gives you the overview of everything that you see here. If they were to be in a deal, let's say they were no longer just somebody you just met, and you now want to add a deal because they put an offer in. So the deal might be the address of the property. And it's on the buy side, and now they're active, and the target price on this home is $250,000. I get a percentage. I typically get 2.5. And it automatically calculates here for me the GCI. When we look at our dashboard and overview in our deals, this GCI, believe it or not, becomes a very powerful, if not subliminal, motivator for you to reach closings. If you see a lot of GCI in pending transactions or prospecting, certainly going to motivate you to get those to closing.
Maureen?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Actually, this is for Erica too. I see we're getting a lot of questions about the lead street leads as to when, if you try to import them now and it doesn't work, what's actually going to happen on March 31st. So Erica, would you mind giving everyone an idea what's going to happen with lead street leads next week?
Yeah, absolutely. So lead street leads are going to be imported into the booj system. However, when we say lead street leads, that means new leads from remax.com that have been received since we launched on Lead Street. So if you had leads that were imported from 5 Street, the previous system that we used, into Lead Street, those leads will not import over automatically. You will have to import those over. Lead Street will also, I'm sorry?
So they have to show a source as homes.com as the lead, right?
Yes, yes. Lead Street will still be accessible for at least 30 days. We don't have a hard time frame just yet, but you will still be able to access Lead Street for at least 30 days after March 31st. During that time, you will be able to access your contacts just to see which ones didn't port over, or you can export the entire list, import them into booj, and then merge them as duplicates. So there are options that you have. If you need help, please reach out to our support team. We will be more than happy to help you import those contacts, manage the duplicates that come over from Lead Street, whatever you need. Don't get frustrated with the system and give up on it. Reach out to us and let us help you through that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you both. All right, so here I am. I'm in the middle of adding a deal to an existing client that I entered just a moment ago, and we'll quickly grab a close date just for this demonstration. Now, the primary participant is the person whose record I am in, but perhaps he's going to be buying a house with somebody else. Trying to find somebody that was in my last record. Don't know what this is going to take. Trying to find somebody that was, Erica, you were in here, right? There you are. Eric, let's say Erica was in, as long as that person is in your contact base, they will auto-populate here. So that is one reason you want to make sure if you're dealing with a family and there's two partners purchasing the house, or maybe two partners plus, let's say, a dad is coming in to give the down payment, you want to make sure you enter them all into your contact base individually. So when you go to utilize these other parts of the CRM, they're there for you to add. So in this case, I was able to add a primary participant and add the additional participant in the same deal record. Okay, so now we have it, and it just populated. It gives us the fact that it is an open deal, the potential GCI, and we can continue to do so as we work on it. If I open the deal, it's going to show me exactly where we stand with it. So we've already gotten past the prospecting stage, and we're now in the active stage, and here you can add even more detail. This is where I talk about having some practice. You want to go through these pages and really pay attention to look at all the wonderful things you can do. You can change the expected close date if you had to, add the property address. You can even mark it as fell through. That will give you some analytics moving forward. The commission is really nice to see because it's giving you that subliminal push to make sure you get this closed. You can edit the participants, add more. Maybe you want to add an attorney. Make sure your attorneys and home inspectors and mortgage brokers and people like that that participate in all your deals are entered as your contacts as well. So you can include them in all these tasks and all these deal records. Okay, so that's simply the dashboard of the deals on that client. Here you can add notes, anything you need to. Let's say home inspection. And the note might mean the following needs to be completed by seller within 20 days. And then you could bullet point those items, and then you add that note. Now you have, when you open this record again, you have a note, and you can start to edit and delete and check off things that perhaps have to be done in order to satisfy the buyer after the home inspection. The history is coming soon. Okay, so I'm going back to contacts and leads, and I just wanted to point out, don't forget you can filter people, you can search by first, last name, phone number, emails, you can edit the columns, and let's say that you are looking for someone and you're not sure, or you can't figure out, did I tag somebody, or did I mark it tagged, or didn't I? Whatever the case may be, what's it? I just can't find it. I want to see everything. Just hit reset all filters. It's not going to take anything away. It's not going to hide information from you. It's just going to allow you to see everything without filtering anything out. All right, so now let's move on to the deals. Upper right, upper left, moving to the right. Now we're in the deal section of the CRM. Again, this little shortcut, you can add contacts, you can add deals, add events to your calendar and tasks. Let's add a deal. Right now, this is showing you in a pipeline view where these example deals are. Nobody's now in prospect. We have somebody active. This is a pending deal, and to the date, we don't have any closed. So again, upper right-hand corner to add a deal, enter the name. The deal names are best by address because you might have duplicate names, but you won't have duplicate addresses. Let's say this is a listing, and it's actually pending. You know the target price was $550,000. And we're going to stick with the 3% in this case. It's going to close this week, and Eric is buying the house. And we add the deal. And there we go. So now we have, again, another way in which you can add your deals within this section. I also like to point out there's two views. The pipeline view is what we see here. You can see it tracking. This is my favorite view because I like more visual and I really like to see that travel. And knowing full well I can open any of these deals and get into the details of it. But if you just want a list, here you go. Just look at the list view. It shows the address, the primary participant, the target price. Now look at this. There's your average sale price here, your average GCI. All of this helps when you're doing your analytics. And it tells you exactly what stage that particular deal is on and if there's any assigned tasks to it. It's a nice, quick overview. You can sort by any of your stages. There I just sorted by active and it's showing the one that is. Again, managing filters and resetting is also there for your use. So now let's look at, actually, do I have any questions up to that point on that section?
No, we are getting, thank you. I mean, we've gotten questions we've been answering, but there is a couple of questions about the paperless systems. And just so everyone understands, this is really new to all of us. And as a team, Erica, nor Maureen, nor myself, we don't have access to .loop, DocuSign, or ZipLogix to test these features or to even provide you any kind of training or support. Since it is a third party, you can all contact those vendors directly and let them know you are looking to connect your booj account. You're with RE/MAX. They have a protocol in place to support RE/MAX members, and ask them, you know, if you're getting ready to connect it, what are the features of that? We're working really closely with the RE/MAX LLC training team. So like I said, to gather more information about these, but we will not call ourselves experts on this feature right now, nor can we do any kind of testing. So thanks for your patience, and I'm glad you're excited about it because we are too.
Thank you for that, because you just brought me back to a reminder that when I was in the settings pages, I did mean to point that out. Is it in the system section? No, I'm sorry. Yes, it is. It's in the integrations. So I went to the settings pages. I went down to system. And when I was in the system, there I am now in, this is going to show you where your lead forwarding can come from, HomeSpotter, Realtor.com, and Zillow. These, when you click on, will give you the information you need on how to get those leads forwarded to your booj account. And it's basically called lead parsing. And what you're going to do is go into those accounts and replace the email that they go to with this one. And that will push them into your booj account. As far as the transaction management, and I'm actually going to take a quick picture of this. Zip forms for later use, so that now you will be able to connect, yes, to DocuSign, .loop, and Zip Forms Plus. However, that is not something we can train you on. They are aware of our connection to booj and what we're trying to do, so they would be the one to reach out to support on that. Okay, so now let's move on to campaigns. And at this time, you can send a single campaign. The others are coming live. And when that's, first of all, the dashboard would look like this, and it would allow you to see the emails sent, the opens, the clicks, who unsubscribed, did anything bounce back in these number of days, the past 37 year. And you will get some really nice analytics. As you can see, these colored bars. The opens are blue, the clicks are green, whoever unsubscribed is purple, and if something bounced back, it's red. But you'll see wavy lines here, and it'll help you fine tune your marketing, so because you're gonna know what's working and what people are clicking into. So that'll be the first dashboard you see. You can also add campaigns. All right, so let's title one, spring introduction. And we'll leave it on the single, and then you can click Build Campaign. So here, you're going to be able to launch the email builder, or let's start with selecting a template for this spring single send. And I guess Home Sweet Home is as good as any for the template. And here you have it populating. Where'd it go? Okay, there's a picture, there's the picture, and there is the text in which it comes with out of the box template. Here we're noting it as a created template. Again, I'm going to retitle it. And maybe the description is welcome warm weather and welcome home. So I can save those email details and go to the block list. Now, blocks are simply parts that you want to add and or change on any campaign. So for instance, the email header, you just hit the edit button and you're able to edit the header text. And save changes. And here it appeared up here, spring has sprung. Okay, you are able to go through these and change things as you wish. You can also add blocks. All right, in this particular template, these are the choices we get. So you might want to add an agent block. And at this time, you can edit that on your social media or in the Mac Center profile, but that's something else you'll be able to add and then save. And then save and continue. Okay, so as we go through, you're going to be able to see these different options in the campaigns, and you'll be able to add them, build them, edit them. There will be recurring when the time comes, important dates, drips and newsletters. Now, recipient lists are really kind of cool because you might want to build a recipient list where you want a specific campaign just to go to certain people. So you may want a voters recipient list. And when you hit create list, now that is an option whereby you can start adding names to that list so you can market to them very specifically. And the templates shows you a sample of all the out-of-the-box content. This is only showing 5. You can show up to 100. I'll click 25 and you'll see a whole bunch more. So there's no shortage of beautifully marketable out-of-the-box content that's been very carefully designed. We have the most amazing marketing people in this company, as well as at LLC that developed this booj platform. And you're going to be able to really, you can preview something. This looks like a great one. If you were if let's say you just took our staging class and you wanted to get people excited about your staging abilities, this might be a great, template to use if you were going to send out a campaign based on your staging abilities now. Okay, so let us move on, I think, unless do I have any more questions or or is there something I've forgotten? Could I be clearer about the campaigns, Michelle or Erica?
No, I think we're good. I think we're ready for websites and anything else you have to finish up.
Okay.
And I just want to say thanks for the questions, everyone. Your participation is much appreciated, and we really love that you're getting into the system and really trying to figure it out, which is a good thing.
Yes, I really agree. Again, if I were still in the field, that was quite many years ago, but if I was, this would have been wow, I would be so excited, so happy. I would be all over this, trying to, and even if it's just to utilize the parts that you're comfortable with at the beginning, please don't ever look at this. I know the webinars go quickly and there's a lot to absorb, but please don't think that you have to learn it all in one sitting. That's actually not even possible for most of us. We, Michelle, Erica, we all had to learn this piece by piece and then start to practice it to get more and more comfortable. The same is going to be true for any adult learner. So I like to suggest that once you've been set up, once you're into this place where you can click through, practice, go through each category, check your settings and all the things that happen within it, go in there, you can't break it. So spend 15 minutes a day, just 15 minutes a day to learn one more piece of it or become a little more comfortable with it. And once you're visually comfortable and your subconscious starts to absorb it, you will then absolutely be able to utilize this to its full potential and really maximize its benefits for your business. So just for another minute before I hit the website live button, I'm going to go back into my slideshow presentation and go over just a bit about the websites. So what we want to make sure is that we show you how to update your Mac Center profile, show you the website dashboard, set up the home page, show you how to manage pages, and have you familiar with the main menu. I'll also be showing you a couple of websites that are complete with completely different looks to show you the variations of types you can build yourself. I also want to mention you can use these websites out of the box if you don't want to get super creative. There are, or you feel you don't have time to be building websites or editing even. The out-of-the-box content is phenomenal, and you can utilize them right out of the box until you have a chance or until you decide that you want to go a little bit more personal with the section. So keep in mind that your Mac Center profile is going to feed everything booj, your websites, your bio pages on remax.com. Bio pages are like a profile page. It's all the important things about you that a consumer wants to see in one fell swoop. They don't want to have to click through 5 pages to find out some basic but yet very important information about you. So the bio pages are what your consumers and all consumers will land on when they find you on remax.com, but then they can click through into your fully functioning 5-page website. It's also, your Mac Center profile is going to feed your listing information in the CRM mobile app. That's how you're going to be branded via your profile. Okay, so that should be your first point of troubleshooting if any of those things aren't showing up right. Here's an example of a well-done profile. It's just a nice, clear picture. Everything's filled in. Oh, so sorry. I felt like I was on the Mac Center live. And all of these categories are what we're going to go over so that you can fill them in live. But just to let you know that it's very important to get a high-resolution photograph in order for it to show up nice and clear on your website. This is an agent bio page. We will go to this agent's website live just to show you that. But as I mentioned, the bio pages are going to show all the important things about you, contact information, where you work, important things like languages, are you multilingual, any designations or credentials you've earned, and your specialties. Also, it's going to have a complete interactive contact me in my website. But I would say one of the primary things you want to do on Mac Center is make sure your bio is complete. Do not be shy about putting in personal hobbies and things that are age appropriate, perhaps. If you're a young family and you've got kids in all kinds of grade levels, it's good for people to know that, because if that's where they stand, they're going to feel like they can relate to you. If you're a single person who is a true career person and it's all about business, then certain people will be attracted specifically to you because of that. And the last category to think about, let's say you're a retiree and you have all the information and all the comfort level in the world with helping people relocate to an area where they can spend their time relaxing and golfing and swimming, whatever the case may be. So it's important to make sure your bio really reflects the level in your life, where you are, what you're most versed in at this time, so people can really choose you based on your compatibility. Just a quick view before we go live. This is what an agent website design might look like. You're going to notice it's very clean, it is very modern, and it has everything people could need by searching. And the verbiage allows them to click on things about you, your reviews, your listings, your follow me, etc. The team websites, they're going to have a little bit different verbiage about us, our reviews, our listings, and then you're going to be able to see the agents that are members of that team and snapshots about them as well. The office websites, again, they'll have their own type of format. They're going to see a picture of the office. You might have an office mission statement or about us here, pictures of the staff and locations of where their multi-offices are listed. And one thing to note is in the web sites, the buyer search feature is really, really exciting. It's one of my favorite parts. The fact that a buyer can literally finger draw around a location in which they want to see listings that pop up. And it can be broad, or it could be so fine-tuned that all they want to do is move close to mom. So they literally circle this tiny little neighborhood, and that's the only places they want to know. Well, when you're able to see what they're saving, you're going to know that when a house pops up in that neighborhood, they're a very, very strong candidate as a buyer. The buyer search mobile app is going to be very similar. You're going to have those same options. You're going to be able to do virtual tours, view the property, choose your location. You're definitely going to see the RE/MAX agent branding. And these are the CRM features that will also be available to be seen on your phone. So you're going to be able to log and call those meetings like I talked about, and see the tags, get the contact information in there. You are going to be able to utilize booj fully mobile. The bio pages I did mention, basically it's just, this visual is just telling you that from the national website on down through multi-offices, offices, teams, and members and agents themselves, every one of them has links to those one-page bio pages I mentioned that give a beautiful profile summary of each and every one of you, your offices, your teams, etc., so that the consumer can, as they've told us they need, can grab all the important vital information about you in one view, and then click into your website and move on to get deeper into all the other features that you built. All right, so just a quick visual of, you've seen this dashboard as we went through the booj CRM. Again, when you go back to this red logo, it brings you to your dashboard. And now we want to talk about the website. When you click on the website, this is the drop down we're going to review. And let's go live. So again, as I mentioned, I'm coming out of my last demonstration. I'm hitting the red button. And now all of these options occur to me again. I can go into any of these categories of the CRM. We know the listings are to be coming, and we jump over here to reports that are also to be coming. But for now, let's open the website. And these are the drop-down pages we're going to look at. Let's look at our website dashboard. So one of the things to point out is right now we're not able to publish until March 31st, which is a good thing, because this is the default URL to your current practice websites. They will be, when they're published, you will be able to choose a domain name that you like, or forward one that you've already been using. This little I will give you the username and password you need to view the booj website that we're about to show you how to build. So let's just take a peek by clicking into this. And as you see, it's asking me for that username. And believe it or not, I have to look at it again. Beta-user. And beta tester 123 explanation allows me to sign in to see the view of what this test website looks already. So this is where you guys can view as you practice and as you put things in your website and what you don't. Okay, so this is basically out of the box content, looks beautiful. And I'd like to point out the menu over here. This is under your control as well. When we get into the navigation, you're going to be able to, once you put pages in, decide where those pages fall in your menu items. And you can have them moved around as well. So I'll be showing you that later. This, I just wanted to point out, is a way for you to view the website as you're building it, but it is not published yet, okay? The other thing I wanted to point out is this mobile app branding square. In order to be able to text your branded mobile app to your consumers, you have to enter your phone number in here and then text it. Then you will be sent a link that you can share and send to anybody else via text that you want to download that mobile app with your branding. All right, now to change your home page, you simply click on the change home page and you can choose different pages from the templates. Let's see which one. The one that is currently being used on my demo is the agent social layout. You could choose something different for yourself. Just take a look at these, decide what you might like, and click the button that you would like yours to look like, and then hit save. Right down the bottom there. Sorry, there you go. Okay, so that's one way you can change your home page. Now, my current home page is the...
I'm sorry, real quick. We're getting hammered with questions about how to access the username and password to view their website. So if you can just go over that again real quick. Thank you.
Absolutely. What I did was I went to the website dashboard, and here is what pops up. This URL is the temporary one that has been defaulted until we publish, which isn't going to happen until March 31st. If you click on this, in order to see the preview, it's going to require a username and password, which you can find by hovering over this I, which is right to the left of this link. So when I clicked on that, it provided the username and password. Please note the login is case sensitive. So if you want to take a quick picture of that, you may. And all that did was when I clicked on this button, it required me to use that password in order to get to the view of my test website. Is that helpful?
Yes, that's exactly what we needed. Thank you.
All right, good. Now, like I said, you can change your home page by clicking here and looking at some options for different templates. But because my template is already set on the agent social layout, I'd like to demonstrate that one first. So I'm clicking into my home page, and look at the beautiful thing this does. It actually shows me what my page looks like as is on the right-hand side of my options here. What we did was we added blocks. As you can see, this says add block. every one of these little sections is a block. Okay? And what I want to do is just give you an example that you can add blocks and remove blocks from your website to change them so they look like what you wish. For instance, I'm actually going to delete the Zillow block for a moment because I think that's an important one that everybody should have on their website. And I'm going to show you how to add it back in. So all of these blocks that create these images, texts, etc., are available right here. Now here's my bio option. When I click on that, here is the bio that was edited in Mac Center. Remember we said everything pulls from Mac Center? So if I want to edit that, I go back to Mac Center and I change it and it will appear here. If, for instance, I want to look at my testimonials page or the testimonials that are here, these are the ones that are manually being added. And when we get to the testimonial section, I'm going to show you how you can adjust those as well. Sorry. But let's say I consider this not finished. See how all these tabs are green? If you're editing something, it's not quite finished, you don't want the public to see it yet, even if you are published, just mark it into draft mode, and that will prevent the public from seeing it until you're done. And when you're ready, you just turn it back on. So as I mentioned, I think it's important that you understand that the Zillow block is within the page's choices, or I should say the block choices. And when you click add a block, you get all these different opportunities to add them into your website, or you can take some out. When I scroll down, I have this Zillow review block. Now these reviews were added manually, which we will touch upon. The Zillow review block is the one thing that you have to enter your screen name in order for them to forward over automatically. So what you need to do is either know your Zillow screen name, or as you can see here, I'm just simply opening a new Google tab, and I'm going to find the name of an agent that I know doesn't mind me demonstrating her information. And I'm typing in Zillow so that her Zillow profile appears at the top here. So when I click into her name, right here I'm in her profile page. So you can find your own self in Zillow many ways, but this is the way that makes it a little easier since I already know her profile. But whatever way you get to your Zillow profile page, just know that it's right here in the front under professional information. You don't have to go clicking into anything. Just get to the front profile page, go to professional information, and the screen name is listed right here. So simply copy it. Some of yours might be your names, first name, space, last name. Some might have numbers, but whatever it is, copy it, spaces it all, and then bring it back into the booj platform where it asked you for the Zillow screen name and paste it in. The second I did that, the Zillow reviews populated on this website. So I hit save. And as you can see, the block content was created. As I scroll down, there are the Zillow reviews. So I think that's an important block to show you. And like I said, you can build this website to your liking by going into different pages and into different blocks. You can turn them on, contact forms, send me a message. You can fill this in until you decide what you want to finalize, then turn it off. Okay, so now I'm going to exit that piece. And again, my reminder to you is to please don't worry about this moving fairly quickly. You can rewatch it, and it's something you have to play with. It's not something you can absorb in this 1-2 hour sitting. It is absolutely 100% self-teachable through RE/MAX University, because we have so many videos in there that are short, very informed, and easy to understand in little sections, 2 to 8 minute videos, or you can rewatch any one of these recorded webinars, which are all very similar, and you can go over and over it until it's very comfortable for you to use. By March 31st, or right around the launch time, we really want you to be very comfortable and excited about using the whole product. And again, those new webinars that we gave you the dates for very first thing on today's session are more to come, and they're on the next level of information right around the launch and what's going to be different at that time. All right, so I came out of the dashboard and out of the building of that page and automatically landed in the pages drop down. This is all we're doing, is we're going down the list. So when I landed on pages, that gives me an opportunity to preview all of the different pages that we can utilize in our websites. Now, add a page, like I said, everything you do, you can build in. You can use something that's out of the box, or you can add your own. When I hit create a new page, I simply name it. Add the description. And this tag down at the bottom is called a slug. That basically happens on any URL after the .com. So up here you see remax.com/website pages. Your page on your website, when that happens to be open, will have the remax.com/town of Norwell. And that's just identifying that new page. So when I saved it, there it is, created, but because it's new, it doesn't have anything in it. So let's put something in it. You want to start with the headline. Okay, so maybe I want to pick a pretty picture, and we're talking about a town overview, so let's go with a RE/MAX balloon and insert that. And we can create a title. Description. And save. And the block content was saved. And now here you can see that is the one and only block I have on this new page. So, excuse me, if I want to add another block, now I can pick something else. Now I'm going to try this. If I click video embed and create a title, view the beaches, I understand that you have to choose a video that is either on Vimeo or YouTube. Okay, you can't upload one from your files in your computer or copy and paste. It has to be a URL from YouTube directly or something that's housed on Vimeo. Am I correct with that, you ladies?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
So a lot of you have asked already, can I embed with HTML code? The answer is no. They don't have that ability set up. And also you cannot upload a video file like an MP4. As Maureen said, it has to be hosted on YouTube or Vimeo, and those links are to be added here.
Thank you. So just to point that out, I wanted to show you how to add another block, and we'll do one more before we move on. Let's go with the generic block. And here you see what you see is what you get. Blocks are edited for inline use. So that means you can type anything you want in here, and you could start with, I've lived in Norwell all my life and raised my family here. So I'm happy sorry, to welcome you. And save that. And here's that little block down here. So naturally, it takes a little bit of practice. You're going to pretty it up. You're going to add more blocks. So any page you create has to be built. I'm going to exit out. And again, I'm back on pages. Now, there's two ways to get to this view: edit navigation, or go back to our drop down, like I said, and click navigation. When I do that, it shows me which pages I am working on or are a part of my website. There are two columns. Unlinked pages means these are pages I've built or am working on, but they are not active. They're not showing live to my website or to the consumer-facing public. Only the pages that are in the active navigation are currently showing. So the good news is you can change these all around. You can drag and drop them into different positions. This is what creates that menu I talked about. So for instance, let me go to my test. When this menu is open, you can decide which order these options show by using the navigation. So you also are able to create what they call parent-child relationships. Let's say you want the buy side to be the first thing after the About Remax, but you don't necessarily want the mobile app right there. You can move the mobile app further down. And you can move the home value estimates further up. And you simply do that by hovering over this little 6-dot bar, and you can also preview and edit these pages. Okay, now let's say you want to use some basic pages all the time, but during certain times of the year, let's say right now, where people are starting to wonder what's going to happen to mortgage rates right now under these particular circumstances. And not that this is going to update financial federal rate information, but it is going to tell you some things to consider. So maybe you say, this might be a good time in my business to throw that right up under my About Remax, and so people can read about mortgage considerations as they try to determine their next steps under the current climate. So this is a really nice, fun, easy way to create your website the way you want it. I'm just refreshing my page here. And when I open my menu, now it has things in a different order because I changed them. Okay, so as we move down the platform, we can go into the next drop, which is templates. And you have seen these. I went through that in a different page. So you get to preview each template. Here's the agent social layout. That's the one we started with. And you can see where things lie. Let's look at the one that says search. Where's our search layout? Here it is. Let's look at our agent search layout. Many of us feel that the search bar should be one of the first things we see. And why am I not seeing it? Let me go back, try that again. Oh, I think it's because that's actually what I'm already on. That's the case. I was actually, my system already had it there, so that's why it's already on that. Let me see if I can just show you one more template. Sorry. Exit this. And look at another one just for preview. Let's look at the buyer's guide preview. There you go. So this is just an opportunity under templates for you to see what that page would look like if you chose to use it on your website. And again, there's a grid view that shows you some of the pictures. There's a list view too that might be a little easier for you to choose from as you get used to what these titles mean. You can create new templates. I think we went over that already. Again, I did one for Town of Situate as well. And that shows you where the slug would be, and this would be a waterfront community. Let's say. And again, because I added a new page, now I get to build it. So just keep in mind, whenever you're choosing a page or changing a page, you can build it via those blocks we showed you, including the Zillow review block, which leads me to testimonials. Testimonials that are not from Zillow will not automatically transfer over. You have to add them manually. Now, what you want to do is make sure you give credit to the author. So go looking back at your Realtor.com or your Google reviews or even your website, wherever your reviews are, and give credit to whoever entered that for you. And James Kelly wrote, and they gave you 5 stars. What you might want to note here, these will not transfer any dates because you're the one entering them, and they will look like they all came in on the same day. So what you might want to do is add in the testimonial box when this testimonial was written. And then you can save it. Let's see, where'd it go?
Hey everyone, this would be a good time to mention, if Maureen didn't earlier, and I apologize if you did, to disable your pop-up blockers when you're using booj.
That could be it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that it happened to me initially. So again, make sure you allow the pop-ups to run on all the booj platform.
Hope again. It is possible. Yeah, it is possible I have a pop-up blocker going because I didn't go into the incognito window, which is a better option. So just know that that will populate on your website. Those testimonials will show up, and the Zillow ones will automatically transfer over. And I can show that to you when I show you I'm just going to go through these 2 things, and then I'm going to show you a couple of samples. So next is the domain manager. At this time, we don't need to really explain anything. We will be going over that in detail coming next week when we go through the actual March 31st launch. And the support team is going to help us make sure that we get everybody's domains, chosen domains, set up for their websites. Finally, the website settings allows you the opportunity, if you hover over the registration settings, it actually gives you a definition. Relaxed means users are only required to register for activities that require an account. Restricted means that users are required to register for activities that require an account and after they have viewed so many listings on your site. So you may want to leave it relaxed so that they don't get that prompt to register. Or you might feel that after somebody's viewed, let's say anywhere between, this goes from 0, I should say from 1 to 99. you might want to pick a number that you feel once they've viewed on your site 30 listings that you wanted to prop up and ask them to register. So that's entirely up to you. I just want to explain the two options. And some people feel very strongly that if you ask people to register for things, they'll leave your site. Other people feel that they don't want to be working with, they want to work with people that are serious, and therefore they feel that if they're serious, they will go ahead and register. So basically, that's what I wanted to show you. I am going to now jump back into the last 5 minutes of a couple of built, beautiful, new booj websites from a couple of different people that were able to get theirs done in advance as demos. And as you can see, Christine here has a really nice view. Her menu's over here, designed by her, just like I showed you how to do. And she's decided to use this beautiful spring picture. Her search bar is one of the first things you see, which is something most consumers want. And she now moved into her, basically like a bio page or a profile page. She put that next in line. She didn't have to, she could have moved it down further, but this is where she's chosen to put it. Through her Mac Center profile, she has a nice, clear picture. She has all the things that people would look for in qualifications, and she has a very thorough bio. As she moves down, she talks about getting the app. So I'm sure that's a really nice block to include because people are going to want to know how to utilize that, and she's going to want to be branded to them. And then she shows,
or not Erica, sorry, Maureen. Sorry. There's a question that's important here, and I've seen this a couple times already. There's a lot of questions around if we're in preview mode right now and we build our site, when we go live, are we going to have to redo everything? And the answer is no. This is the preview period here for you right now, is to give you that time to build your site the way you want it. And then on the 31st, it's just a matter of you hitting the publish button, making it live to the general public. So that's what that's for. And then you'll be able to assign a custom domain. But by all means, please create a way, design a way. It will save, and it's not going away on the 31st.
Absolutely. That's one of our biggest reasons for getting this, these demonstrations out to you over the last several weeks with these demonstrations and how to utilize them so that you can build it in advance. So again, this is just another sample. And here is an example of a manually added review, just like I told you. I might have had a pop-up blocker blocking mine from populating, but this is what it would look like. It shows the stars she's chosen. It has her full UBase. She could have copied and pasted this, read more. And like we suggested, is just add the date of the original review here so that people can see that. Naturally, the most recent reviews carry the most weight. She's got a nice video. That's actually one of ours. And then she's got some beautiful pictures. And down here is the contact information again. So that's one example. And the next one I want to show you, just because it looks so much different, yet just as nice, I want to show you, you can personalize these to your liking. No two have to be alike. And here's another one that looks much different. You saw Michelle's profile page as an example, or I should say bio page as an example when I did my screenshot, and hers has been designed a little bit differently. Her menu is a little bit different because she's like to include area information on each of those sections in Florida where she thinks people are most likely to be searching for homes. And she's got a nice picture here. Here, search bar again is right up front and center. That's something we all should consider doing. And some of her listings here are being featured. And these were the area information pages for home searches that she managed to work in. And we can help you with that. That's a bit of a workaround at this point. But she just spent some time. There are ways to make this happen. And in her location, where people would be looking to reside in these very special places, that's truly a good advantage for her site. A nice personal video is always welcome. And again, choices she's made as to where her basic bio is. In this case, like the profile page, hers is further down the bottom. These are the Zillow reviews because they came over with the green stars. She had her Zillow screen name added to the block, and that's what it produced. And finally, more opportunity to send her a message and include.
So I just want to add, Maureen, just really quick. So everyone, we earlier at the beginning, Maureen showed you the webinar schedule for next week. On Monday's webinar, we're going to give you some more design ideas to really start working on. So we'll definitely get a little bit more intermediate to advanced in some of these features. And we'll show you, like she mentioned, how to maybe set up some area pages or menu items is actually what they end up being. So just want to let you know there's so much more to come.
Yes, and we are here at 12 noon. Is there any last minute questions that need to be answered?
It looks really good. I just can't thank everyone enough for your participation today. We had a lot of really good questions that we were able to answer and were covered as well, but that's it.
Well, thank you both to Michelle and Erica. I couldn't do it without you. There's sometimes we are engrossed in what we're saying on a presentation and we can't really anticipate something that we may have slipped by. So I appreciate you guys being there to back me up. And I did just put on the screen the upcoming booj webinars if somebody wants to grab a quick picture of those again before we sign off. And if not, I want to thank everybody for your attention, for your patience, and especially for your adaptability during the time that we're not allowed to be on the road with you. We really wish we could be, but we're thinking of you and we're wishing you all good health, plenty of happiness, and a short situation that gets us back outside and into each other's company very soon.